The American, do you know what that is? It's the idea of Kristi Noem to have a new reality show where immigrants compete against each other to win American citizenship. She said it's not like the Hunger Games, even though it sounds exactly like the Hunger Games. What do we think of this idea?
I mean, college campuses are running contests right now to see which students can hate America the most. Maybe we can have a contest to see who loves America.
All right. Thank you, guys. It's time for New Rules.
And I was amazed by reading some of these quotes from Biden State Department people who are like, man, I wish we could have done this stuff.
I mean, yeah, they're saying that because they wish their own president had been awake long enough to do anything like this. I mean, this is the problem. People respond to leadership.
We know in this state, there's no way a person can live in this state on a normal salary. They're just, and that's one reason.
So you can either start OnlyFans or get a new governor or a new government. Maybe you should try that. I mean, I mean, you could change your politics, you know?
No. Trust me, I don't feel undertaxed here in California.
Our favorite guy from CNN, yes, I can't believe I'm saying there's a favorite guy from CNN, but it is Scott Jennings, goes up against Bill Maher on his big primetime show, just got released, and handles him quite smoothly, even gets Bill Maher to nod his cap to Scott Jennings in a way, which is tough to do because Bill is so anti-Trump, so anti-God. I think you guys will enjoy this. It's smooth, it's smart, it's slick how Scott handles this, because also the guy next to Scott is pretty liberal as well. He handles both of them. It's fun to watch. It's SeanDaniel here, filming from Seoul, South Korea, in a beautiful apartment with great lighting. Finally, some good lighting for you guys. Let's go. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the video.
But it's the people who already are here. Take the Abrego Garcia character that we sent back to El Salvador. He has been in the country, or was in the country, for 14 years. He came in 2011, and it's 2025. And there's plenty of evidence that he was a pretty bad dude. And most people are looking at this saying, how did he come in and stay here for this long? Why shouldn't we be trying to pull levers to get people like that out of the country?
So your view is that bad dudes could be sent to a foreign prison? That can't be...
In the country where they are a resident or a citizen? Sure.
Okay, but
he's from El Salvador.
But that's not what the Constitution says. I mean, our friend Byron Donalds, who has been on the show before this week, said due process is reserved for American citizens. But that is not what the Constitution says.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe it should, but that's not what we're talking about. We're saying, what does it say? I mean, if you were the Founding Fathers and you were writing the Fifth Amendment or the 14th Amendment, because both of them use the word person, they knew the difference between the word person and the word citizen. It says no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process. That's the Fifth Amendment. The 14th says no state shall deprive any person of life, liberty, property without due process. So isn't it clear? I mean, you talk about creative means, but creative can just kind of morph right into, we're just going to do whatever I want. And I don't think, as you said, those polling numbers, even among Republicans, I don't think they want to live in a country where a guy just goes, you know, you're a bad dude. You go to torture chamber.
Well, that's not the country they live in. They live in a country where this guy had been to immigration court repeatedly.
But the Venezuelans
order.
they're talking about in this case that the Supreme Court is focused on today, Trump wants to send them to El Salvador. They're not from El Salvador.
I mean, Trump was asked, do you have a duty to uphold the Constitution? And his answer was, I don't know, I'm not a lawyer. Cool. Wait. I'm just asking.
In the same breath, he said, on this case, we have the best lawyers, and we're going to abide by what the Supreme Court said. I mean, that was what his full statement was. Look, these people, these gang members, are not coming here to be productive Americans. They are coming here to rape, pillage, murder, steal, and wreak havoc on communities. The president was elected to fix it. I believe him when he says he's going to abide by Supreme Court decisions, but I don't think most people begrudge him creative ideas when it comes to getting them out when they've been allowed to stay here for so long.
They don't begrudge him a lot of ideas. I don't even begrudge him a lot of ideas like that. I don't want gangs in this country either. Or, you know, was there bloat in the government? Or USA Aid, maybe there was some corruption. It's the way he does it. It's the wrecking ball nature, you know.
But so when I hear people say it's the way he does it, what I hear is, well, I don't like the way he does it, and I would prefer he not do anything at all. Let's just kick the can down the road. That's what everybody else does. He didn't get elected to kick the can.
Really,
This
there's
is a
no
serious
middle ground
problem.
between doing nothing and doing it the right way? Please.
What's the right way?
Well, I don't know. Like, if you were going to demolish a building, wouldn't you go in there and take out the valuable stuff first, as opposed to just knocking the fucking building down?
How many of the, I don't know. How many of the gang members would you consider to be valuable? I mean,
The problem,
No, I'm talking about Doge.
oh, Doge?
You know, yeah, that kind of thing.
the problem is that, again, speaking of polls, most Americans agree violent criminals who are here illegally, undocumented, should be gone. It's all the other people who get caught up in the dragnet who might not be criminals. Or, I mean, Bill,
Well,
you've talked on the show a lot about the
You can see right here that Scott wants to remind him, if you're an illegal alien, you are a criminal. A criminal is someone who breaks the law. Because this guy just said, well, all these other illegals get swept up when they're not criminals. They get swept up with the other criminal illegals. See how they try to play this game of being legalistic with terms, being the super analytical with what words mean, and then they bypass the logical meaning of being an illegal, committing an illegal act makes you a criminal. They don't want to say that. There's an illegal and then there's a criminal illegal. When Tom Homan and the Trump administration has not used that terminology, they've called them dangerous illegal criminals, ones that have done heinous acts, been charged and prosecuted because of some dangerous, bad stuff they've done. But an illegal is a criminal. There's not a difference between, and I think that's what Scott Jennings was about to say, but Bill Maher cut it off.
Trump, if anything, he is a disruptor. You got to give him that, because he has mixed up the right and the left this week as I haven't seen in a long time. I see lots of people on the right criticizing him for taking the plane and for being cozy with Qatar. I see lots of people, Democrats, centrists, people who you don't usually see saying nice things about Trump. Let me read Fareed Zakaria. Trump reminded us that sometimes his willingness to take risks and think outside the box can shake up old, tired ways. He could bring a new level of peace and stability to the Middle East. This is Jean Shaheen. She's the Democratic senator of New Hampshire. She's down with it. Sarah Jacobs, she's a congressman out here in California. Here's Rob Malley. He's in the Biden administration. I wish I could work for an administration that could have moved that quickly. It's hard not to be simultaneously terrified, he says, by the things Trump does. Also awed by his willingness to brazenly shatter so many harmful taboos.
And I was amazed by reading some of these quotes from Biden State Department people who were like, man, I wish we could have done this stuff.
I mean, yeah, they're saying that because they wish their own president had been awake long enough to do anything like this. I mean, this is the problem. People respond to leadership. People respond to leadership. The president is functional and capable of going to another country and saying, I represent the United States. Let's wheel and deal here. And
Man, see, Scott is slick. You guys are going to enjoy this whole video watching how he handles these situations. Points out the obvious, but he does it in a comedic way where it's palatable for Bill Maher to start liking Scott Jennings. And what's even more crazy is that the buff guy with the nice big chest on the right of Scott Jennings, he's not admitting what Scott just said is true about Biden being an idiot, being out of it mentally. And maybe that's why these Democrats got sick of working for the administration and now they see the speed of the Trump administration. Will he admit that on the show? You and I both know he won't do it, but at least Scott says it out loud. It keeps getting better. Keep going, Scott.
we've always been war and peace. I think Trump has changed it to peace and war. He talks about peace more than he talks about war. He's still hawkish enough to bomb people that need to be bombed, like the Houthi rebels. But I get the feeling he's responding to all these new inflows of constituents to the Republican Party. Maybe they were Democrats before, maybe they weren't even political before, but they would much rather hear an American president talk about peace. And the banner in the Middle East at his rally this week said, peace through strength, which is probably one of the most enduring slogans from the Reagan era. He doesn't agree with him on everything, but on that, I think he's right. But putting peace ahead of war, pretty popular with the American people.
Well, I was on this.
He does not like war. I knew that from what people had told me, and when I may have met him in the past recently.
How How'd that go?
That went great, actually.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that comes across really plain, which is
Yeah.
so ironic because it's sort of like a hippie view. Like, I don't care what you have to do, we're just not going to war. In his case, surrendering. He surrenders to people.
When I worked at
like to Putin.
when I worked
to just surrender because I hate war that much. And you know what? If this stalemate in Ukraine was ever going to not come out the way it is, it makes sense. But we'll see, because he does just surrender.
Bill can't say anything to refute what Scott just said about Trump wanting peace and making deals in order to avoid war and keep peace. Be willing to go to Qatar and make a deal, even if they have their own bad morals with their own country. He can't say anything about that. But what he does do, he slings in that last little slingshot at Scott about, oh, well, Trump just basically bends the knee to avoid war. He surrenders. He gets down and bows down, even to Putin. And you saw Scott's face. He was like, but he didn't let him respond to that. Didn't let him respond to that. Which you and I know Scott would have cooked him on that one, because that's a totally different thing. Now watch how Scott's smoothness even impresses Bill Maher.
Sure, but I'm saying he's got 3 more years to be president, and then the midterms happen.
Yeah.
You can assume Democrats take back the House.
I did, in working on this book that I'm writing, I did talk to someone.
Good plug.
Yeah, I know. If you have $30, order it right now.
That was slick. That was slick. Now Scott's going to change from his smooth slickness to being smooth and stabbing back a little bit.
The American, do you know what that is? It's the idea of Kristi Noem to have a new reality show where immigrants compete against each other to win American citizenship. She said it's not like the Hunger Games, even though it sounds exactly like the Hunger Games. What do we think of this idea?
Is this on YouTube? Where
No,
is
this is
on?
real. This is real, suggested by the Trump administration.
She is the thirstiest cabinet member of all of them. She will do anything to please Mr. Trump, run TV ads, do a game show. She is so thirsty, man.
Well, I mean, college campuses are running contests right now to see which students can hate America the most. Maybe we can have a contest to see who loves America.
All right. Thank you, guys. It's time for new rules.
Scott Jennings is so quick. He had to come up. I don't know how he spins some of the questions that Bill Maher and these other people ask him, because a lot of times they're tough questions. And the other people on the panel, like Mr. Jacked guy over here, who has a beautiful, gorgeous chest and arms, by the way. Got to give it to him, even if he's liberal. Usually, that guy and the host, like Bill Maher, will corner Scott Jennings. And man, that was so quick. Just like the other clip he does right here, where he combats Bill Maher trying to normalize all the bad sexual things that people are doing for money.
We're teaching a whole generation of young women that the best and fastest way to get rich is to have sex with people in front of strangers for money. We're teaching...
You're talking about OnlyFans?
I'm talking about OnlyFans. We're teaching young women that if you can have sex with 500 or 1,000 people in a short period of time, you'll be a cultural icon, and that is corrosive for the culture. And so to your point, it's different than it used to be, and what are we teaching these girls? It's not just the boys. What are we teaching them about their own personal humanity and value?
Okay. Well, I don't think we're teaching them. I think they're doing it because the economy sucks. They don't want to... Thank you.
So you're saying this is the only job they can get?
I'm saying all these people are on OnlyFans. Not all of them, but yes, desperation leads people to do things just like that. I don't think most of them would want to do it, but I mean, we know in this state, there's no way a person can live in this state on a normal salary. They're just, and that's one reason.
So you can either start OnlyFans or get a new governor or a new government. Maybe you should try that. I mean, you could change your politics, you know?
No. Trust me, I don't feel undertaxed here in California. I've complained about the same thing.
Yeah.
Scott Jennings thinks so quick to come up with something, not only in a good moral argument, but to come up with something that is that pain point for the host, Bill Maher, who was always attacking Scott, always attacking Trump. He finds the pain point for Bill Maher in one of his super liberal arguments about sexual things and, oh, well, OnlyFans is good, blah, 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 whatever. To turn it around in an instant that just shows you how impressive Scott is and how much practice he's had over 20 years from being in the party, being on TV, but especially the last year or 2 years being on CNN and dealing with this every day, where not only the host, but most of the guests are in it to go after him. That is such a skill to go into a pressure-packed environment, a TV recording, the lion's den, where nobody's going to help you put your argument together, and you're getting attacked on 5 fronts like he does on Abby Phillips' CNN show. That's so impressive, and that's why he can walk into Bill Maher's thing with just one guy on his right, Bill Maher on his left, and handle their good arguments that they're making. I mean, they're not dumb guys. And he turns it around to hit Bill Maher right here, and he gets him to agree. That's really impressive, because we know Bill Maher is really a hard ass against Trump, against anything conservative. It's Sean Daniel here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Watching Scott Jennings go into the lion's den against Bill Maher. Let me know what you think in the comments. Did he do a good job? Did he not do a good job? I think he did. Handled it calmly without being extra over-the-top emotional to try to grab attention. But let me know what you think. Like and subscribe if you want to see some more. And if you enjoyed the video, I'll see you in the next one.